Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about Do Kwon being arrested. That actually happened. And Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank, and then just like the general banking issue and crisis that we are dealing with. And I'll also, just give you guys some updates on what I'm looking at in terms of Movies Plus, mining, all those kinds of things. Also, a secret reason the mining is good. Based on a fun thing that happened last week for me. Fun is in air quotes because it was not fun. Um, anyways, and also how to prepare for the coming apocalypse. So, as always, shout out to the Bitbox O2 hardware wallet. I almost called it the Black Box O2 hardware wallet because the other sponsor is Upstream Data, who has the Black Box. So, it'd be really interesting if they made a black box that was mixed with a Bitbox. You could put, I mean, technically anything could become a hardware wallet. You could like pound it into the steel on the inside of the black box. Anyways, before I get ahead of myself and reveal secrets, um, yeah, I would get yourself a Bitbox O2 hardware wallet from Shift Crypto and make sure you are getting your coins off the exchange because it looks like Operation Choke Point is happening pretty darn soon. And then I would also maybe try to explore getting Bitcoin in a different way, which would be through mining. So go to upstreamdata.ca and you can check out all their mining equipment. But quite seriously, mining Bitcoin maybe one day will be the only way that you can obtain Bitcoin, or at least obtain it and move it to a private wallet without it having have it being that doesn't make sense without it having to be stuck at a financial institution. So yeah, I would do that ASAP as possible. And then also, you guys know Movies Plus. Go to mymoviesplus.com. Use the promo code Cory to get $5 off. You get the whole year for $2.50 a month, and you get the hard hitting stuff. You guys will appreciate the Movies Plus original that we just released called Abracadabras. There's two seasons. Released them basically weeks apart. Both are available, so you can binge the crap out of it. It's a coming of age story about kids who end up getting superpowers and develop superpowers. And it's like really not so much about the powers. It's more about the relationships and everything. And it's got an awesome feel to it and a quirky, nostalgic feel that you'll really like. I think I love it. Um, and then also we have the dividers, which you need to check out because you can't watch it anywhere else. And the dividers, it's about when 4chan trolled Shia LaBeouf. So use my promo code. I see it all the time. You guys are using it like crazy. So keep using it. CORY gets you $5 off. All right. So first off, Do Kwon was arrested. Um, and I saw that. I saw a report this morning, somebody saying that Do Kwon was arrested. And I was like, there's no way he was actually arrested. I mean, it wasn't like the most reputable of sources. And people were asking for sources within the tweet, and nobody, there was no sources given. So I was like, yeah, maybe it didn't happen. Um, but just before this, I did see video of him and someone else that I assume was in, involved with him. They were both being led out of a courtroom in handcuffs. Um, so it just makes you wonder other other fraudsters out there starting to sweat because I mean they deserve it. They just flat out pure fraud took people's money um and yeah, we'll see what's coming for them. But yeah, he I didn't buy into that whole Do Kwon hype. I was trying to get people to explain to me why stable coin was his stable quan or whatever it was called. Why was it a good thing? How was that beneficial? I know Pomp was pumping the crap out of it. Um, but yeah, it just wasn't buying it. Shitcoiners gonna shit. That's my new saying. Shitcoiner's gonna shit. Um, and then so Credit Suisse. So Credit Suisse. I'm gonna I'm gonna do some googling here. Um, so Credit Suisse, UBS reportedly looking to abort Credit Suisse investment bank deal. Wow, that was a day ago. Head of 1 hour ago on the Guardian, head of Credit Suisse talks about his profound sadness over UBS takeover. Uh, so it looks as though Credit Suisse is going down, or it has been taken over. Now, I next see that Deutsche Bank is having problems. And there's, a headline from 4 hours ago on CNBC that says Deutsche Bank is not the next Credit Suisse, analysts say as panic spreads. Um, analysts say. So if the analysts say it, then I believe it wholeheartedly. Why would they mislead me at all? I mean, there's nothing been misleading going on in the financial sector for a long time. If anything, that's where the most reputable people in the world are. So why wouldn't I believe them? Uh, do not. Sorry for all the noise and sound effects this week, but I've kind of reached my effort point with these consistent liars. Um, it's just the weirdest thing right now is that lying. Like I wish lying was like actually not was a difficult thing for people to do, but like people just do it all the time. I mean, about like everything. Um, which is why Bitcoiners we don't trust, we verify. But like, think about how many problems in the world would be solved if lying. I mean, you can't eradicate lying, but like, it has just been. I feel like flipped. I mean, I'm 37 years old, so since I was a kid, I feel like it's just completely changed. Oh my God, it was 20 years ago. I was 17. Holy crap! I haven't thought about that since this age, or I haven't thought about that since I turned 37. Sorry, I have ADD sometimes. 37. I'm 20 years ago. I was 17. God. I guess it's just going to keep getting bigger and keep going. But anyways, yeah. So I don't know. I wouldn't panic because you're a Bitcoiner, so you probably have your Bitcoin off of an exchange in a BitBox02 hardware wallet from Shift Crypto. Go to shiftcrypto.ch/Bitcoin made simple to use promo code Bitcoin made simple to get 5% off. I also can see when you guys buy those, which is pretty cool because you guys should be buying them. Sorry for the sniffles, but I have them. So, uh, yeah, I would encourage more people to get yourself taken care of because let's just say there's not a hardware wallet that you can withdraw your cash to, and you could withdraw the cash and keep the cash on hand, but they're going to probably make that illegal eventually. Uh, and the panic I think is gonna spread. I'm not telling you anything based on like, oh, this is what I know is going to happen. So, or trying to spread fear or panic. I'm just trying to be a friend, giving a heads up to say, hey, if you have cash in certain places that could be eventually restricted, maybe you should consider moving it. I'd move it into Bitcoin, you know, outside of cash that you need over the next 5 6 months. Um, if I mean, if you, I always forget. Most of you are probably like a steady paycheck, regular paycheck. You can DCA. So you guys, if you have a steady job and a steady paycheck, then you should be good. As long as you have enough of a runway to make you comfortable of cash in the event that I'm not saying you'd get fired, but just you lose your job for one reason or the other. Um, you have to have that like in case fund, the insurance fund, as Chris Rock says, the in case shit. Um, so in case shit happens, you should have a little as much of a runway as you think you need. Makes you comfortable, but I would be it. Let's just say you put if you didn't put all your money into Bitcoin and you put it into other things, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit everywhere. Uh, I'd maybe change that now. You should have changed it a long time ago, but I'd change that now. Um, for example, like anything that's going into retirement accounts, I know there's the tax benefit. Um, and don't take it from me because you're looking at somebody who cashed out their 401k in order to uh in order to fund his business. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see if that was a good decision. The jury is still out. So far, so good. Looking all right. Um, but I would be allocating more and more towards Bitcoin or frankly, I mean, what do you're going to get taxed more. So like don't contribute anything to your 401k. I don't know. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just saying what I would do is I'd be like, I'll pay the taxes on that income now and put it into Bitcoin because that is like, I mean, that's like low time preference. Like you know, 401k is low time preference. You can't touch it for years and years and years. Do any of you think that the money you're putting into your 401k is going to be more valuable? And I don't know, let's just say you're 20 years away from retirement. In 20 years, is going to be more valuable and you're going to be glad that you saved the, I don't know, 20, 30% or whatever on taxes? Probably not compared to Bitcoin. Um, so I'd really reconsider that. I'm reading the tea leaves. I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on. And I don't think this banking thing is close to being done. As I recorded in my impromptu podcast earlier, which you should definitely check out if you haven't. Um, the I don't think it's Bitcoin's going to moon to $1 million in 90 days. Because and I why I don't want that and why you shouldn't want that, and I explained it. So not to pat myself on the back, but go check that one out. It was the episode prior to this one. Um, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, but it's also I think going to get really dicey right now. I mean, the fact that Powell came out and raised, I mean, amidst the banking issues that are going on right now, he raised 25 bips, as the cool kids say, or 25 basis points, or in human terms, 0.25%. He raised the Fed funds rate, which means the ripple effect down the line of interest rates on mortgages and everything else under the sun. Um, he did that. I didn't think he was going to pivot and not raise because I do believe what Phil and Gibson says and Tom Luongo and I think I do believe they're trying to break the euro dollar and they're trying to do that at all costs. So it doesn't really matter to them. They don't care about the short term consequences here on our shores. Um, so I think that I don't know, I was pretty surprised that they raised. Well, I wasn't surprised. I sound like an idiot right now. Sorry, my wife texted me and it popped up on the screen and it made me lose track of thought. I wasn't I was I wasn't surprised that they raised. I expected them to raise rates. But just this was like the first time that I was like, eh, eh, maybe, maybe they will. Um, and and then I've seen the charts going around. I'm sure you guys have seen it, but basically with these, they're not bailouts, and I'll get into that in a second, but um, and smarter people than me can explain it, but I'll give you my dumb version of it. Um, I think two-thirds of what was accomplished with the quantitative tightening, I guess you could call it, or the raising of the Fed funds rate to get inflation under control and the dollars being printed, blah 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 blah. I think two-thirds of that was undone just with this SVB thing, and potentially the Credit Suisse on top of that. Um, so that just goes to show you how fragile this system is. It's like, don't get me wrong, those banks going under is a really, really big deal. But like, you know, there's like the slightest little burp and everything, everything was undone. All the pain that they caused, everything that they were trying to accomplish. Although I'll have to bring on like Phil and I'll have to talk. I know Phil started a new gig, so I mean, he's still occasionally doing episodes, but probably does not have the time to do it at the moment. But I got to have him come on and maybe explain why he thinks. I think he said this is good because it is still. Oh yeah, because SVB was getting a lot of euro dollars. I guess their fractional reserve was going to a lot of offshore uh, companies. So from my smooth brain, that means to me that they were taking with the cheap debt, they were taking it and turning around, getting it from the Fed, and then throwing that money the out to companies in different countries from all over, predominantly not in the United States, allowing them to benefit off of us. As Phil explained, this wasn't a bailout. You should check out his QPOL. I think it's QPOL Substack. I don't know, dot Substack, something, something. Um, this wasn't a bailout. I guess they got the cash and they need to pay it back within a time frame. The question will be, can they? I don't know. Um, but as this fragility starts to spread, it's just a weird, weird time. Um, so I'd recommend getting yourself a little more in a more comfortable situation. Kind of like, the tornado is ripping through town and you don't know if it's going to hit your house, but, and odds are it's probably not going to hit your house, but the safe bet is to get into the basement and just ride it out. Get some card games, get something to drink, some food. You're going to be sitting down there for a minute and waiting it out. So I do that however you can metaphorically interpret that for your life. Um, Things I would recommend everyone do here. I might be singing a different tune in like a year, and I know that you guys know I'm getting into the chicken raising game. Uh, so I started off, we were like, oh, we'll get four just to like have four, that'll be enough. Then it was like, well, no, we can get more. Well, let's get six. Okay. So we go to Tractor Supply Co. We get four because but they only had one breed and we wanted a mixture of a couple breeds. We were hoping to get like three different breeds, two of each for six birds. And so they go, they're like, oh, you have to get four for agricultural purposes so that people, I guess I found out from my dad that my dad growing up would get a peep one of these chicks from his mother on Easter, and it was like dipped in, you know, egg dye basically, probably, and colored a certain color. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I got one every year." And I never heard this story. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." And I said, "Well, what happened to the chicken?" And he was like, "I don't know." So I'm piecing things together. I'm thinking my grandma just let them walk out into the woods and try and survive on their own. Um, but so for agricultural purposes, I bet you that's why they want you to do a minimum of four. So, anyways, then the next day we go to a different store to get different breed of chickens. I was just going to get two, thinking worst case scenario, they're going to tell me four. And I was like, okay, I guess we can handle eight. Um, and they go, oh, you have to get six minimum. I was like pleading with them. I was like, but like I have four at home already. I don't need more. Um, and they wouldn't budge. So I have 10 chickens now. They're all baby chicks. They're pretty adorable. My kids adore them and are just like standing at the brooder box, just playing with them all the time, as much as they can, picking them up nonstop and playing with them. So we have to try and limit that. I don't want to stress the birds out too much, but yeah, if you're looking to get more sovereign, you know, let's just say the world would fall apart. If you have chickens, I mean, we're going to be getting about 60 eggs a week once they're producing this summer. So, yeah, I think when they're prime laying, they lay about six a week. Uh, could be wrong. Some of them, I know some are more, some are less, but the ones we got spotted Sussex. We have four of those. We have three Easter eggers and three golden comets. Um, and I would recommend if you guys have the wherewithal to do it, I would do something. It's really not that complicated. It's very intimidating, the starting of the process. Like I was looking for a coop and you can find these nice, cute looking coops online. Oh, like $150. Oh, that's not bad. They're these prefab ones, but everything, as much as I wanted them to be good, everywhere I read, it was like they're complete garbage. Don't don't get into those. So I didn't, but you still have to make one. And so I just started like ballparking it. I was like, this is about the size I need and how it need to look. And I'm not a carpenter, but here I am building my own coop. And I basically almost have it done. Uh, I think all told, the expense will be like just under $300 for a coop, built from scratch, just with lumber and stuff from Lowe's and Home Depot. Uh, and honestly, like six, probably like $60 or more of that expense will be the paint and the shingles for the roof. But it's really not that hard. And honestly, what helped me get over it was that my wife's cousin was like, as long as nothing can get in, that's the main focus. Like you just got to make sure things can't get in, and that they have their space and stuff too. But like the coop is to protect them. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. And I would, if I can do it, you guys can do it too. It's really not that difficult. I would say give it a shot and you'll get yourself some eggs because man, will those go up in price. We'll be able to sell them for $100 a dozen. We wouldn't though, but we're going to get used to eating a lot of eggs, um, and using them a lot. So I don't know. I mean, I know my family's going to be getting pummeled with eggs because I can't, we can't eat 60 eggs a week. At least I don't think. I mean, when my boys are older, probably going to be like crushing eggs. They'll be doing Rocky Balboa style and just downing them. I know if we had chickens whenever I was like a teenager and hockey training, all that kind of stuff. Oh man, I would have been taking them raw and just crushing it. Um, so yeah, I would just say start poking your head around, look into those certain things, and make sure that you do that all after you have moved your Bitcoin off the exchange and into a Bitbox O2 hardware wallet. I don't want to hammer it home too much, but a Bitbox O2 hardware wallet is where I would put my Bitcoin. And as always, I got to run, guys. It's Friday. I'm running late to go coach football, but I will check in with you guys again next week. I appreciate you as always. And again, go to shiftcrypto.ch/Bitcoin made simple, and I will talk to you guys later.